Hey, Galen Kim Davis once again talking about Measure B, which is on the ballot for Sunnyvale in March of 2020. Uh, Today, I'm just going to quickly go over the map that's part of Measure B and how we got there. So on the screen, I have the map. I'm not going to get into the details of that. That would take a very long time. But let's talk about how we got to this map. In the summer of 2019, the city kicked off the process for drawing maps and opened it to the citizens. Basically what they did was they made software available to anybody who wanted to, gave a couple of seminars on how to use the software, and said, hey, have fun. And the people of Sunnyvale responded in a very large way. I think there were over 24 maps submitted that met the minimum legal requirements. Now, I'm a map geek, and I jumped right in. And what I quickly understood was that I didn't know the city well enough to draw maps beyond beyond the southern half of the district. Now, mind you, I like to run and bicycle, and I've jogged over. I've had long runs in every one of these districts, but I still felt inadequate. So I reached out to friends who lived in other parts of the city. We sat down. The map got better, but honestly, it still wasn't good enough. Now, what ultimately happened is a group of people from across the city, and I'm talking more than 10, double digits. I think it ended up being 24 people from across the city. People in every one of these districts. We got together. We collaborated on the maps. We collaborated on the maps, and this was the final product. Now, there were a lot of iterations of the maps. City Council had meetings where they reviewed maps, selected maps to proceed further in the process, gave feedback. That feedback was incorporated into these maps, and so on and so on. But long story short, this is how maps are supposed to be drawn. Voters are supposed to choose their elected officials, not vice versa. And if we end up with maps that are selected by a less rigorous process, we are compromising our democracy. Now, personally, I think that is much more important than how a weak mayor is selected. Maps are where games are played, and we have maps here where games were not played. If somehow we were to go into a settlement process where we were going to 7 districts, we would start over with maps. There are no maps that have been through this kind of process for 7 districts, and it takes time, it takes energy, it takes community participation. I think we can't risk that. I think going to 7 districts by way of lawsuit risks having a backroom map being foisted upon the residents of this city, and I don't find that acceptable. So in conclusion, this is another reason to vote yes on Measure B. The city did the right thing by engaging the community and drawing the maps, and the citizens really stepped up, came together, and drew a map that everyone can be proud of. Thank you.